species it is. So by those three facts, I will give you a few seconds, and then you are supposed to guess it and drop down below what your favorite Pokemon is, as well as at the end of the video how many you got right. So let's go ahead and get started. First, this Pokemon is a fighting type Pokemon, and that was a fighting type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 562. That was 562. Once again, that was 562. This Pokemon is a spirit Pokemon, and that was a spirit Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds. Ready? If you guessed Galarian Yamask, then you will be right. Let's go to the next one. This Pokemon is a dark type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 109. That was 109. Once again, that was 109. This Pokemon is considered a gas Pokemon. And once again, that was a gas Pokemon. 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. If you guessed coughing, then you got that right. This next Pokemon is a lightning type Pokemon, and that was a lightning type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 522. That was 522. That is 522. This Pokemon is considered a electrified Pokemon, and that was a electrified Pokemon. I'll give you a couple seconds. This is a really cool Pokemon. I've always thought it was. If you guessed Blitzel, then you got that right. Hope you're 3 for 3 so far. Next Pokemon. This Pokemon is a part of the single strike cards. This Pokemon is a fighting type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 744. Once again, that was 744. 744. This Pokemon is considered a puppy Pokemon, and that was a puppy Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds to get that right. If you guessed Rockruff, then you got that right. Next Pokemon is a colorless Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 233. That is 233. Once again, that was 233. This Pokemon is considered a virtual Pokemon. That was a virtual Pokemon. A few seconds on that. Ready? If you guessed Porygon, if you guessed Porygon too, you got that right. Next card. This Pokemon is a grass type Pokemon. That was a grass type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 585. That is 585. This Pokemon is considered a season Pokemon, and that is a season, not like the seasoning, but a season like summer, winter, fall, spring. I'll give you a few seconds on that one. We went over this one in the last video, so you should probably get this one. If you guessed Deerling, you got that right. Next one. This Pokemon is a grass type Pokemon as well. This Pokemon's number is 586. That is 586. Once again, that was 586. This Pokemon as well is also considered a season Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds on that one. Got it? Should. I'll give you a hint if you paid attention. This Pokemon is Sawsbuck. If you got Sawsbuck, then you got that. Good job. It's crazy how they were back to back like that. 6896. This Pokemon is classified as a wild horse Pokemon, and that was a wild horse Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds on that one as well. If you so happen to guess Glastier, if you guess Glastier, you got that right. Next Pokemon is a grass type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 265. Once again, that was 265. This Pokemon is considered a worm Pokemon, and that was a worm Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds on that one. I'm sorry if you hear anything in the back. Excuse the outside noise. I apologize for that. I'll do my best so you can minimize that. So I'll do my best to minimize that sound for you. I'll give you a few seconds on that still. If you guess Whirlpool, you got that right. That was a tough one for me, honestly. This next Pokemon is a Halloween edition Pokemon. Well, the card is at the least. This Pokemon is a dark type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 229. Once again, that is 229. That was 229. This Pokemon is classified as also again a dark Pokemon. A few seconds on that one. If you guessed, which one was pretty easy, Houndoom. If you guessed Houndoom, you got that right. Next Pokemon is a water type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 116. That was 116. Once again, that was 116. 116. This Pokemon is classified as a dragon Pokemon, and that was a dragon Pokemon. I hope those hints helped. I'll give you a few seconds to guess. If you guessed Horsea, you got that right. This next Pokemon is a colorless Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 108. That was 108. This Pokemon is classified as a licking Pokemon, and that was a licking Pokemon. Very, 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 very nice hints, if I say so myself. You ready? If you guess Lickitung, then you got that right. This next Pokemon is a psychic type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 35, and that was 35. This Pokemon is classified as a fairy Pokemon, and that was a fairy Pokemon. Give you a couple seconds on that one. If you guessed Clefairy, then you got that right. This next Pokemon is a water type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 370, and that was 370. This Pokemon is a Rendivius Pokemon. Is classified as a Rendivius Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds on that. If you guessed Love Disc, you got that right. This next Pokemon is an electric type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 309. That was 309. Once again, that was 309. This Pokemon is a lightning type Pokemon, and that was a lightning type Pokemon. I'll give you a couple hints. Well, I'll give you a couple seconds to guess that. If you electric, you got that right. This next Pokemon is a colorless Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 137, and that was 137. This Pokemon is a virtual Pokemon. I'll give you a couple seconds. Ready? If you guessed Porygon, you got that right. This next Pokemon is a fighting type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 703. That is 703. Once again, that was 703. This Pokemon archetype is a jewel Pokemon, and that is a jewel Pokemon. I'll give you a couple seconds on that one as well. Pokemon's number is 320. That is 320. Once again, that was 320. This Pokemon is considered a ball white Pokemon, and that was a ball white Pokemon. I'll give you a couple seconds on that one. If you guessed Wilmer, you got that. This next Pokemon is a grass type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 274. Once again, that was 274. This Pokemon is a Willy Pokemon. This Pokemon's archetype is a Willy Pokemon. A couple seconds on that. Ready? Okay. If you guessed Nuzleaf, then you would be right. This next Pokemon is a colorless Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 162. Once again, that was 162. This Pokemon's archetype is a long body Pokemon, and that was a long body Pokemon. We're gonna start speeding them up. So let's go. If you guess Ferret, you got that right. This next Pokemon is a water type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 817, and that was 817. Once again, that was 817. This Pokemon is a water lizard Pokemon. So I'll give you a couple seconds on that. Alright, if you guessed Drizzle, then you will be right. This next Pokemon is a Rapid Strike Pokemon edition. This card is a Rapid Strike edition Pokemon. This Pokemon is a fighting type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 50. That was 50. This Pokemon's archetype is a mole Pokemon, and that was a mole Pokemon. I'll give you a couple seconds on that one as well. Alright. Ready? Got it? If you guessed Diglett, then you would be right. This next Pokemon is a psychic type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 353, and that was 353. Once again, that was 353. This Pokemon's archetype is a puppet Pokemon, and that was a puppet Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds on that. If you guessed Shuppet, you got that right. This next card is a fighting type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 369. Once again, that was 369. This Pokemon's archetype is a longevity Pokemon, and that was a longevity Pokemon. I'll give you a couple seconds on that one. This one is also a Pokemon I've never seen before, so this is new to me. Ready? Relicav. If you guess Relicav, then you got that right. Congrats to you. I've never seen that Pokemon before, so you know your stuff. This next Pokemon is a fire type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 607. Once again, that was 607. This Pokemon's archetype is a candle Pokemon. Once again, that was a candle Pokemon. Give you a few seconds on that. If you guessed Litwick, good job. This next Pokemon is also a fire type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 909. That was 909. This Pokemon is classified as a fire croc Pokemon, and that was a fire croc Pokemon. I'll give you a couple seconds on that one. If you guessed Fuecoco, then you got that right. Good job. Cut that part out, Takame. This next Pokemon is a fighting type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 1014. That was 1014. Once again, that was 1014. That was 1014. This Pokemon is classified as a retainer Pokemon, and that was a retainer Pokemon. I'll give you a couple seconds with this one. This Pokemon, if you get it, is Okie Dokie, and that was Okie Dokie. This next card, this one is a psychic type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 711. That is 711. This Pokemon is classified as a pumpkin Pokemon, and that was a pumpkin Pokemon. Couple seconds on that. This Pokemon, if you guessed it right, should be Gorgest. So good job if you got that. This next Pokemon is a dark Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 93, and that was 9-3. This Pokemon is a gas Pokemon, and is classified, like I said, as a gas Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds on that. Alrighty, you ready? If you guessed Hunter, you should be proud of yourself. You got that right. This next Pokemon is also a psychic Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 778, and that was 778. Once again, that was 778. This Pokemon is a disguise Pokemon. It is described as a disguise Pokemon. Should be very easy. Give you a couple seconds. If you guessed Mimikyu, you should got that right. Good job. This next Pokemon is also a psychic type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 985. That is 985. This Pokemon's classified as a paradox Pokemon, and that was a paradox Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds on that. But if you guessed Screamtail, good job. You got that right. This next Pokemon also is a psychic psychic type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 972, and that was 972. This Pokemon is classified as a ghost dog Pokemon, and that was a ghost dog Pokemon. I'll give you a few seconds on that. If you guessed Houndstone, then you should be happy for yourself because you got that right. This next Pokemon, as well as also is a psychic type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 987. Once again, that was 987. And that was 987. This Pokemon is classified as a paradox Pokemon, and that was a paradox Pokemon. I will give you a few seconds to guess. Ready? If you guessed Fluttermane, good job. Down to the last two cards. This Pokemon is a leaf type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 906, and that is 906. This Pokemon is considered a grass cat Pokemon, and that was a grass cat Pokemon. This Pokemon, ready? If you got it right, this Pokemon should be Spigarito. So, good job. Last card. Thank you for getting to the end of this video. I appreciate it. Let's take it home with a bang. This Pokemon is a psychic type Pokemon. This Pokemon's number is 92. Once again, that was 9-2. This Pokemon is considered a gas Pokemon. This Pokemon is classified as a gas Pokemon. Let's take us home. Ready? If you guessed Ghastly, then you got that right. I hope you got a lot of these cards right. Drop down what your score was down below, as well as what is your favorite Pokemon. You loved the first one, so I had to come back with a second one, and I know you'll love this one. So anticipate a third part coming very soon. But it's been your man. ASMR. And if you like this video, check out the other videos on the screen, as well as the description down below. But I will see you all in the next one.